Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so we got a class today. It's a nice class. So we're gonna go over something that happened yesterday, something that is very big, or at least I think so. But it's about the history of Mother's Day. So I'm on the History Channel, and it might be a little bit of a long history. So it's not like, but it's just the history of Mother's Day, how it started. But happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I hope everybody said Happy Mother's Day to their mom and really recognize that, moms do a whole lot. They really do. And they try their best. Maybe they're not perfect all the time, but none of us are. And so it's good to recognize for a day, really think about, hey, my mom's done this for me, you know? And sometimes they sacrifice a lot more than we even realize. Sometimes it's giving you things that they don't even have for themselves. They're like, no, I want you to have this, and I'll go without. Moms do lots of things that sometimes people don't recognize or see. But thank you, moms, for everything that you do. But this is a history class, so this might not be the most glowing thing. So moms hopefully have already gotten their flowers, cards, or whatever it is that are, chocolates or maybe hopefully something even better, gift cards or anything that your mom might really want. My mom always likes stuff for um, like a book or something like that. She enjoys to read. So, but this is the history of Mother's Day. So we're going to go over how it actually began. And sit back, get yourself a hot cocoa or something like that. Might be a little long, not too long. But let's get started. So Mother's Day is a holiday honoring motherhood, and it's observed in different forms throughout the world. In the United States, Mother's Day 2022 was yesterday, May 8th. And so it goes over here who created Mother's Day, but since we're doing the history class, I'm not going to be redundant. But Mother's Day traditionally involves presenting moms with flowers, cards, and other gifts. Or honestly, sometimes just a nice conversation and some appreciation goes a long way. So the history of Mother's Day. Here we go. Celebrations of mothers and motherhood can be traced back to the ancient Greeks and Romans, who held festivals in honor of the mother goddesses Rhea and Cybele. I think it's Cybele. It's Cybele. But the clearest modern precedent for Mother's Day is the early Christian festival known as Mothering Sunday. Once a major tradition in the United Kingdom and parts of Europe, this celebration fell on the fourth Sunday in Lent and was originally seen as a time when the faithful would return to their mother church, the main church in the vicinity of their home, for a special service. So over time, the Mothering Sunday tradition shifted into a more secular holiday, kind of like the one we see today. And children would present their mothers with flowers and other tokens of appreciation. This custom eventually faded in popularity before merging with the Mother's Day in the 1930s and 40s, with the American Mother's Day in the 1930s and 40s. Okay. Quick interesting fact, did you know more phone calls are made on Mother's Day than any other day of the year? These holidays chats with moms often cause phone traffic to spike by as much as 37%. See, love your mom. Most people do. And the statistics show it. It's true, though. So here it is. Anne Reeves Jarvis. Oh, 1 second. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze. Anne Reeves Jarvis and Julia Ward Howe. So what do these two people have to do with Mother's Day? The origins of Mother's Day as celebrated in the United States, sorry, got a little bit of allergies, date back to the 19th century. In the years before the Civil War, Ann Reeves Jarvis of West Virginia helped start Mother's Day work clubs to teach local women how to properly care for their children. These clubs later became a unifying force in a region of the country still divided over the Civil War. In 1868, Jarvis organized Mother's Friendship Day, at which mothers gathered with former Union and Confederate soldiers to promote reconciliation. So another precursor to Mother's Day came from the abolitionist and suffragette Julia Ward Howe. In 1870, Howe wrote the Mother's Day Proclamation, a call to action that asked mothers to unite in promoting world peace. In 1873, Howe campaigned for a Mother's Peace Day to be celebrated every June 2nd. So how did we get to the May tradition? Interesting. Other early day mothers pioneers include Juliet Calhoun Blakely, a temperance activist who inspired a local Mother's Day in Albion, Michigan in the 1870s. So the duo of Mary Towles Sassine and Frank Herring, meanwhile, both worked to organize Mother's Day in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Some have even called Herring the father of Mother's Day. That's interesting. Yeah, it makes sense, though. Anna Jarvis turns Mother's Day into a national holiday. So this is back to Jarvis, the first person we talked about from West Virginia. The official Mother's Day holiday arose in the 1900s as a result of the efforts of Anna Jarvis, daughter of Ann Reeves Jarvis. Following her mother's 1905 death, Anna Jarvis conceived a Mother's Day as a way of honoring the sacrifices mothers made for their children. Which, like I said, they have a lot throughout time. All time. After gaining financial backing for a Philadelphia department store owner named John Wanamaker, in May 1908 she organized the first official Mother's Day celebration at a Methodist church in Grafton, West Virginia. Back in West Virginia. The same day also saw thousands of people attend a Mother's Day event at one of Wanamaker's retail stores in Philadelphia. It all starts to tie together. Following the success of her first Mother's Day, Jarvis, who remained unmarried and childless her whole life, interesting, but never forgot her mom, but maybe, I don't want to speculate too much, resolved to see her holiday added to the national calendar. So arguing that American holidays were biased towards male achievements, she started a massive letter-writing campaign to newspapers and prominent politicians, urging the adoption of a special day honoring motherhood. By 1912, many states, towns, and churches had adopted Mother's Day as an annual holiday. And Jarvis had established the Mother's Day International Association to help promote her cause. Her persistence paid off in 1914 when President Woodrow Wilson signed a measure officially establishing the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day, as we have it now. May 8th is the second Sunday. Now what happens? So, Jarvis, who pushed for Mother's Day, really wanted Mother's Day to happen, decries commercialized Mother's Day. Decries means she did not like it. And commercialized Mother's Day just means what it's become with the cards and the candies and the flowers and everything. So, but how? So Anna Jarvis had originally conceived of Mother's Day as a day of personal celebration between mothers and their families. Her version of the day involved wearing a white carnation as a badge and visiting one's mother or attending church services. But once Mother's Day became a national holiday, it was not long before florists, card companies, and other merchants capitalized on its popularity. While Jarvis had initially worked with the floral industry to help raise Mother's Day's profile, by 1920 she had become disgusted with how the holiday had been commercialized. She outwardly denounced the transformation and urged people to stop buying Mother's Day flowers, cards, and candies. It's like Cupid going against Valentine's Day. But for not a bad reason. I mean, it is pretty commercial, really. Instead of just buying the flowers saying, yeah, I got my mom some flowers. Whatever you do, give it some heart. And I think that's what Jarvis was going for. Like, really mean it. And go to church, apparently. Jarvis eventually resorted to an open campaign against Mother's Day, profiteers, speaking out against confectioners, florists, and even charities. She also launched countless lawsuits against groups that had used the name Mother's Day, eventually spending most of her personal wealth in legal fees. By the time of her death in 1948, Jarvis had disowned the holiday altogether and even actively lobbied the government to see it removed from the American calendar, which is what she initially did to get it started. America working against America within America, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. It's kind of funny. But it's also sad because, she really fought for something that she thought was pure, and commercialism made it not as pure. So, again, I urge you, when you talk to your moms or you give a gift, make sure that you know to let her know it's really from the heart and how much she means to you. Maybe tell a personal story, something like that. That always helps. That you remember. So, lastly, Mother's Day around the world. I guess it didn't take too long. You didn't really need cocoa, but hopefully you got some. Mother's Day around the world. While versions of Mother's Day are celebrated worldwide, traditions vary depending on the country. So in Thailand, for example, Mother's Day is always celebrated in August on the birthday of the current queen, Sirikit. Right? Sirikit. Sirikit. One moment, please. Sorry for the break. Okay. So, we'll get back to it. Another alternate observance of Mother's Day can be found in Ethiopia, where females gather to each fall to sing songs and eat a large feast as part of the Trosht, a multi-day celebration honoring motherhood. That sounds like fun. Which, even in, I grew up Mormon, but that was definitely something that we always did on Mother's Day, but usually at my grandma's house. Because she was like the matriarch, so you'd always go there. But there was always a feast there. In the United States, Mother's Day continues to be celebrated by presenting mothers and other women with gifts and flowers, and has become one of the biggest holidays for consumer spending. Families also celebrate by giving mothers a day off from activities like cooking and other household chores. Okay, not my grandma, though. She would not have anybody else touching her kitchen. But she would let people clean it on that day. Dishes were, yeah. So at times, Mother's Day has also been the date for launching political or feminist causes. In 1968, Coretta Scott King, wife of Martin Luther King Jr., used Mother's Day to host a march in support of underprivileged women and children. Good job, Coretta. And in the 1970s, women's groups also used the holidays as a time to highlight the need for equal rights and access to childcare. Which, hopefully we could launch something now with everything going on with Roe v. Wade. But, yeah. We're not going to get political here. Technically today is Mother's Day. So, I do want you to know, moms out there, you're awesome. I've already said it. But please, everybody, even though it's the day after Mother's Day today, if maybe you didn't do something for your mom or forgot, which I've done before, it's awful. But let them know how much you care about them and do it every day if you can, or at least a couple of times a week. Just a little shout out like, Mom, love you. Thanks for everything you do. Really appreciate it. It goes a very long way, and it means a whole bunch. Anyway, happy Mother's Day to the mothers out there, and have a wonderful rest of your day. If you have any questions, comments, of course, suggestions for other classes, I'm always one to want to try to educate about new things and even interesting things that maybe I never even thought of at all. Anyway, hope you have a great day, everybody. Ciao for now.